Sandiaga Uno says the government is currently developing Bali as a superior health destination. And Rabies and Buleleng claim 4 lives. Stay tuned for details. Selamat siang. Welcome to the latest news from Bali and Indonesia. This is December 1st, 2022, and my name is Bruce. What is the weather like today in Buleleng? It is amazingly beautiful, finally, after days and days of rain and cloudiness and heavy winds. It is just gorgeous outside. Let's see if I get a photo here to give you a look. Wow, it is lovely. And the current temperature, 28.1 degrees Celsius, very nice. Humidity, 64%, and the wind speed, very gentle, 3.5 kilometers per hour. It is a lovely day. I hope it's lovely wherever you are. And this is December, and I know a lot of people are waiting to find out what is going to happen to people who are on retirement visas when the 24th of December rolls around and the second home visa comes into effect. And there has been no news. The silence, as we say, is deafening from immigration. What's going to happen? I don't know. There will be a report as soon as the immigration says something, and hopefully it will be soon. I know if this was affecting me, I would be really, really anxious. And all I can say is, hang in there, hang in there. And there's a cooking video, Sue's cooking video, and a curry. If you want to take a look at it, it's up here. And and then there was a Singaraja Snippets video that came out the other day, and it is up here as well. Okay. Let's take a look at COVID cases before we get started. National new cases, 5,609, pretty stable right now, still at 5,000. National recoveries, 4,411. National deaths, 41, and Bali new cases, 82. So the numbers have not moved up much. So I guess that's good news. It would be better news if they went way down, but considering the way things are working in the world these days with these new subvariants, take what we can get. The weekly positivity rate is 15.81%. The daily positivity rate is 13.67%. And so those are the numbers. Let's get started. I've talked about medical tourism before in Bali, and here is some more. Pak Sandiaga Uno says, government is currently developing Bali as superior health tourism destination. Superior. The tourism minister said that they are going all out in preparing Bali as a prime health tourism destination. And the plan for developing health tourism in Bali is targeted at attracting Indonesian people, not necessarily Westerners, but Indonesian people who usually go abroad for medical treatment instead of staying here and getting it here. And apparently the government loses $161 trillion, a trillion rupiahs per year from Indonesians who go abroad for medical treatment. And so they're planning on the new health center in Sanur, which is, I guess, currently being built, to keep those people here so that they spend their money in Bali instead of going to wherever they go, Malaysia, the US, the UK, Australia, I don't know. The development of health tourism is a priority in the national strategy because it's a response to the challenges faced by the Indonesian nation, specifically in related to post-pandemic health issues as well as economic recovery. And the tourism ministry also continues to collaborate with several parties to implement the 4 pillars of health tourism development. And what are those? Well, medical tourism, wellness tourism, sports event-based health tourism, and MICE-based scientific health tourism. MICE is meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. The health minister said, and I hope this is a mistranslation, Bali is a champion city. I didn't know Bali was a city, and a hub for medical tourism, and one of the destinations that have complete potential to be developed in accordance with the health tourism pillars. The minister said that besides strengthening collaboration, his ministry is also making several efforts so that the tourism sector can be connected with the health sector. These efforts include formulating the National Action Plan for Medical Tourism and Wellness Tourism in Indonesia and supporting and encouraging hospitals and clinics that already exist in Bali to obtain a decree of the Minister of Health as a medical tourism health service facility. According to the tourism minister, the state-owned enterprises ministry is currently developing health-exclusive economic zone in Sanur, and as our quick win, urging regional governments to form a collaborative entity body whose function is to coordinate, advocate, and execute the policies and programs needed in the context of health development, health tourism development in their respective regions. And he added that the Minister of Health has made various breakthroughs, one of which has been encouraging the Indonesian diaspora, especially Indonesian doctors who work abroad and those who've had advanced knowledge to return to Indonesia to contribute to developing health tourism in Indonesia. And that would be great. When I was in Pakistan, my dentist trained in the UK and worked there. She came home to help take care of her elderly parents. And when I had my emergency surgery, I was at the hospital, doctors from Cook County in Chicago, where I went several times when I lived in Chicago. So will people come back, medical professionals come back to Indonesia to live here if they can work in an international setting? And make some money too, I guess. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But this is more on the development of medical tourism in Bali and in Indonesia. And rabies. Haven't talked about rabies in a long time, but still a problem. Victims bitten by dogs are urged to be vaccinated immediately. Cases of death from dog bites still are occurring in Buleleng. Throughout November, 4 people have died from rabies. So if you are in Buleleng and you're walking around and there are dogs around, you want to watch it because you do not want to get rabies here. The head of Patas village in Ngurah said that a resident was bitten by a dog suspected of having rabies and he died. He was bitten by a dog during a religious ceremony, but he did not receive the anti-rabies vaccine because he didn't want to tell anybody he'd been bitten. And apparently it was not a serious bite, and so he just kind of blew it off. And, well, he's dead now. Following up on this incident, the Patas village government took preventive measures. They are working with the Agricultural Service of Buleleng, carrying out rabies vaccinations in the village. And according to village head, we hope that people who are victims of dog bites report it immediately, even if the bite is not considered serious. This incident surprised us quite a bit, even though we have been intensively conducting outreach to residents to report when there are bites or when we find the presence of stray dogs. Meanwhile, Buleleng Regional Secretary Gede Suyasa said that his party has had limited meetings to discuss rabies cases, and he said the government is trying to prevent it. One of the ways they're doing it is to stress and tighten the maintenance of the management of dog maintenance. There is a procedure for caring for dogs, and it's regulated in a circular. And so all villages and people living in the villages are supposed to be abiding by that and taking care of their dogs, not letting them roam freely, giving them vaccinations. Pak Suyasa guarantees the supply of the vaccine, the anti-rabies vaccine, is in safe condition. There are currently 7,000 doses of the vaccine, as well as assistance from the Bali Provincial Health Office if needed. He ensured that residents who received the vaccine could avoid infection with the rabies virus as long as it was given at the right time. He said, don't wait more than 2 weeks. He added, usually after being bitten, the symptoms of rabies appear approximately 2 months later. If you've got symptoms already, it's difficult to help. So if you are bitten by a dog or any animal, you should go and get it checked. And what about the Canggu shortcut? More on this Canggu shortcut again. New Canggu shortcut for land acquisition in 2023. So there is a plan to build another road, a new Canggu shortcut, and it's going to be taken care of by the Badung Regency government. They're going to implement this in 2023. And it's going to start with land acquisition. After the land is acquired, a shortcut road will be built that crosses the intersection of Jalan Raya Canggu and Jalan Pantai Barawa. and that will be 400.33 meters long and 10 meters wide. So hopefully people will be able to use it without falling into rice paddies. According to the head of the Bandung Public Works and Spatial Planning Office, Ida Bagus Surya Suwamba, he said the land acquisition process is currently being carried out. Well, an appraisal is currently being carried out, so that currently the calculation of the amount of costs that will be used in land acquisition is underway. And this has to be fit into the budget for 2023. And of course, there will be a socialization process that goes along with this for the community as this plan develops. The Canggu shortcut has been long included in spatial details for 2021 to 2041. And the shortcut is going to cross office areas and green open spaces. Additionally, room is going to be made in the budget for the construction of drainage and sidewalk. These will be located in Pererenan, Canggu, and Barawa. So if you're one of those people that lives in Canggu and thinks that that is what Bali is, well, good news for you. You may get a road in the coming, months? Because 2023 is almost here. It is December 1st. Good news for travelers, especially travelers who want to go to Hong Kong. Bali's Gusti Ngurah Airport resumes Hong Kong route. Starting on November 27th, a few days ago, Indonesia's state-run airport operator PT Angkasa Pura I, President Director Faik Fahmi, said that he was welcoming the route opening. He said slowly but surely regular international routes served by the airport before the pandemic are now operating once again. At the end of 2019, the airport served 48 regular international flight routes using 34 international airlines. With the reoperation of this new route, with the reoperation of this old route, the airport will serve as many as 24 regular international flight routes with 27 international airlines. And Cathay Pacific will be flying 7 times round trip Hong Kong Bali per week, 7 times per week on Cathay. I used to like that airline. I don't know how it is these days. A long time since I've been in Cathay. Before the pandemic, the airport served 671,168 passengers and 2,764 aircraft movements to and from Hong Kong throughout 2019. And so, Hong Kong flights back again. And here's something interesting on the criminal code. And I'm not going to put any of my own comments in here because this is a dangerous subject to discuss. So I'm going to stick exactly to what it says here. Government elaborates criminal code bill overseeing communism and Marxism. Really? The Civil Society Coalition deems the criminal code draft bill still contains a variety of problematic articles. One of these is Article 188, overseeing the spread of ideas contrary to Pancasila ideology. In the draft November 24th version of Article 188, it regulates the spread or development of communism, Marxism, Leninism, and other understanding contradictory to Pancasila. The first paragraph states that anyone who spreads or develops this understanding is subject to a maximum imprisonment of 4 years. Sounds like the Republican Party in the United States, still worried about communism and Marxist-Leninism. The spokesperson for the dissemination of the new bill explained that the clause is intended to cover all understandings that basically aim to replace or change Pancasila as the ideology and basic norms of the state. He said this article would not sacrifice freedom of thought and opinion as long as the expression is not intended to spread or develop the understanding banned by law as stated in the draft bill. Article 59, paragraph 4, letter C of the Law of Community Organizations, which are known in Indonesia as Ormas, said that Ormas, these organizations, are prohibited from adhering to, developing, and spreading teachings and understandings that are contrary to Pancasila. The spokesperson for the bill said that there's an exception in Article 188, which is contained in paragraph 6, which reads, no person is punished for conducting a study of the teachings of communism, Marxism, Leninism, or other understandings that are contrary to Pancasila for the sake of science. I guess that means that you could study it as an anthropologist, a sociologist, political scientist, but We'll just have to see what happens when it is finished and passed. And the last few videos, I've been talking about a lot of intellectual property issues. The governor of Bali worried about people pirating goods here. And, well, here's something up here in Buleleng. Great! Traditions in Buleleng are registered by international intellectual property rights. So there are 4 traditions that have been registered as property rights in Indonesia by the Ministry of Law and Human Rights. They've issued a certificate recognizing communal intellectual property rights to the government. And traditions that are registered get various intellectual property rights. And the ones that are registered up here in Buleleng, Wayan Wong in Dijakula, Sabah Malunin ceremony in Padawa village, the traditional Megawak Gawakan game in Panji, and the sustainable traditional game Manggangsing Buleleng in Chatur Dalam Tamblingan traditional village in Buleleng. The head of the Buleleng Cultural Office, Nyoman Wisandika, revealed that these traditions had previously received national recognition through the intangible cultural heritage. The government then took steps to register the tradition at the Hukuman HAM ministry, and with the hope that the tradition gets protection from the government. According to Pak Sandiaga, the government has provided space for the registration of traditions to become communal intellectual property rights, and this is a step to protect our culture and traditions in Buleleng. He said that the issuance of intellectual property rights would protect and anticipate copyright grabs and recognition from irresponsible parties. In practice, the commotion caused by mutual claims of an art or tradition could be prevented. And it's planned for 2003 that the government will re-register communal intellectual property rights for 3 traditions and arts, namely Panggalan Taka, or Balinese astronomy, Songget crafts in Baratan village, and the traditional game of Jaran-Jaranan. So, intellectual property rights. People in Bali worried about people stealing what? Our arts and crafts traditions here, the dances and music, the materials and clothes we wear. And so this is going to be ongoing, I think, as the government keeps saying that we have to protect the culture of Bali. Bule's behaving badly. There's apparently a number of them now going on, and I'm just going to talk about one because I want to keep this short. And I saw a feed in some social media on Facebook the other day, and there was a photo of this guy and with the police who captured him, and he looked like a foreigner to me, but some people were saying, well, he's a Indonesian, but really light-skinned Indonesian. He, wow, would have been really light-skinned from that photo. And other people saying he was a Russian, and of course nobody knows but the Russians. Well, a lot of people like to blame the Russians. Well, turns out he's British. Viral British foreigners steal custom motorcycle in Deus, Canggu. Here's what they did. So I don't know. I want to follow this story up if there's more about this, because the perp carried out the actions on Monday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, middle of the day. And there was a video of it, and it went viral. There was a motorbike parked in front of a Deus, I guess, and the guy left it running, and he walked by and saw it. It was a Scorpio motorbike, and he saw this motorbike running, so he just jumped on it and took off. So the owner went and reported it to North Kuta police, and they did an investigation, and they finally caught the perp in Tegogundul Banjar in Tibu Beneng, North Kuta, and the perp, along with the evidence, was taken to North Kuta police for questioning, and he is still being questioned. Wow. Now, what's going on with this guy? To steal a motorbike in the daytime in front of people, in front of a big shop? Wow, Barani Sakali. And a quick update here on the final story, the Bule Behaving Badly. So, new information that's come out. He apparently, this British guy apparently walked into Deus Ex Machina, and he was looking for some food, I guess, and smoking a cigarette and looking at bikes, and he was accompanied by a few people, and I guess they stayed outside, and then he just kind of wandered around this store, saw the bike that was running, as I mentioned, and then took off. Okay, and he is still under investigation. What a strange story. Okay, that is it for today. Busy, busy, busy here. Still waiting for my grandson to show up here, and my daughter just called and said it's going to be another 2 weeks, Grandpa. Well, got to finish vaccinations and she needs a checkup, and so waiting for my new little guy to get here. The doctor said the eye is looking okay, and I have to go back on Monday, and she said maybe we can do the other eye in a month or so. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday, maybe Sunday, because I've got to go to the doctor on Monday. We'll see. Okay, see ya.